Men of YouTube, will you join me as we defend our walls of Rome against the Muslim invasion? This is going to be an epic battle, you guys. Blade Master here, and I'm going to be bringing you yet another in the massive battles, this little series that's been progressing with quite a lot of you liking it. This one is going to be insane. It is literally the best siege battle that I have played, and it's going to be fought in the Age of Vikings mod. And the Age of Vikings mod has been recently expanded. It's got a huge update with a lot of new units and a lot of new factions. And I'm playing as one of the new factions here. I'm defending as Italy in Rome. I'm basically defending Rome as Italy against the Islamized Emirate of Sicily. Now, the Emirate of Sicily has a lot of new units, and it's a really cool faction. The thing about Age of Vikings is that it hasn't, done a complete overhaul of the rosters. It's just added few key units, and it just makes the rosters that much better of all factions. So I'm playing against Yawning Firefly Jaw, and he has taken Sicily, and he's brought a massive force with him. Let's take a deeper look at these guys. Well, first, let's see the onagers destroy the walls of Rome. It's going to be in slow motion, but that should not be for much longer. The walls of Rome crumbling. He's aiming at the fort tower, which is a smart move at the outside of the battle. So he has split his army in two because we have a large number of troops. He's got a couple of armored archers up in front, and behind them he's got these new units, Ifriqian heavy infantry. Uh, Really cool looking units. They seem to be quite well armored. Now, I want to take a quick look at their stats. 82 melee defense, and they seem to be very similar to the Emirate of Cordoba units with their heavy armor and very high melee defense. Behind them, he's brought a whole bunch of spear levy, some regular Ifriqian infantry who seem to have much lower armor and must be a very cheap infantry, even though they say they're tier 2. Much lower armor and much lower melee defense. And he's brought a total of 4 Ifriqian skirmishers, and they don't seem to be all that great. Only 5 ammunition, but seem to be plenty cheap, most likely, and plentiful in number. 2 Ifriqian cavalry, and again, these are standard, mid-tier cavalry units. 20 attack against cavalry, good charge bonus for an Age of Charlemagne type of unit. Good melee defense, all in all, strong unit, and a glubbed guard cavalry, and completely badass looking units. Look very similar to the Umayyad Guard cavalry of the Emirate of Cordoba. And he's got a battering ram here with an Ifriqian infantry, 2 ladders manned by Ifriqian infantry again, and another armored archer that's taking fire from my fort tower, but of course it's well armored. On the other side, he's brought a total of 3 armored archers, and look at this onager that's firing into. It's already destroyed the walls and is aiming at the fort towers now, because the fort towers with the fort snipers getting a lot of kills on the armored archers, even though they're well armored. He's brought 2 armored archers up in front here. He's got a bunch of siege towers with a lot of Ifriqian heavy infantry, 2 more onagers, a lot more Berber levy, and some Berber light cavalry, which seem to be new units again. Of course, lightly armored, very nice charge bonus for a unit of most likely their price, which is very cheap, and 1 more Ifriqian infantry. For me, I have with Italy, I've got archers. I've got a very lightly manned west side of my wall. I've got some archers here who are pouring in the fire. But basically what I've done is I could see that he deployed most of his men on the north side of the wall. So here I just put some very cheap archers and put a lot of barricades here. I've got some sharp stone beds here that would impede any troops. More sharp stone beds, some caltrops, stakes, because I saw that he brought some cavalry that he's kept in reserve for now. I've got some levy spearmen here who are going to be put in shield wall or spear wall, ready to face any incoming foe, with the local goddess statues, giving them support, and some marble children or marble women are onlooking the axemen, who just look really nice. I mean, I really like the color scheme of Italy in this mod. And behind them, finally, are Gasindii foot swordsmen, who are the pride and joy of Italy. and super heavily armored, and they are ready to defend the walls of Rome to the last man. 72 melee defense, 53 armor. Uh, n- what happened to their melee attack? Does Shield Wall lose some of their melee attack? They've got 33 melee attack only, but good missile block chance, very high morale. All in all, very solid, sturdy infantry. Here in the center, I've got my general, who is a paladin guardsman, along with the contingent of cavalry. As I move here with my Italian Cavalry, got a quick charge on the armored archers and just ran back because I saw that one of my wall has been crushed, or one side of my wall has been crushed, flattening a complete unit of soldiers in its vicinity. But the crossbowmen still remain, and they're going to be pouring in fire. Wow, sorry for the lag, but they're going to be pouring in fire from atop the walls. As you can see here, 138 missile damage for these guys, and armored crossbowmen firing in from the distance onto Ifriqian infantry and Berber levy as they move up. But they are going to be facing up some more Gasindii foot swordsmen, and in shield wall, the Gasindii are going to be a force to be reckoned with, to say the least. Ifriqian infantry here coming under a lot of fire from armored crossbowmen from atop the walls, pouring in. They seem to be pouring in at a very weird angle, but it should still do the trick against these lowly armored Ifriqian infantry. As my Gasindii foot swordsmen move up in the shield wall of death against the lightly armored Berber levy, they stand no chance against the strongest elite Italian infantry. From the far side, we can see more archers pouring in fire. I've kept archers at choke points essentially to pour in support fire onto the lightly armored Sicilian infantry. Crossbowmen from atop the walls, again going to be very useful at killing off enemy infantry here. So much fire, causing fire to my computer's RAM, destroying whatever is left of my terrible PC. Lots of fire spreading through the neighborhood. Pandemonium rages in the streets. Berber levy, with their poor morale, can't stand to see fire so much. And the Gasindii foot swordsmen, though, they are going to be able to hold out for a long time. Ifriqian heavy infantry will be more than a match against these guys, though, and especially in shield wall, I would favor the Ifriqian infantry. But it all depends on if my crossbowmen can do the trick. But for now, they have to be pulled away from the walls as heavy infantry come in and they take on my lightly armored troops. But you can see the ladder has already caught on fire. The other one is not, and that means these very strong infantry will be able to take on my cheap swordsmen and kill them off incredibly quickly. But as long as they're atop the walls, that means my crossbowmen can pour in fire from down below. And look at that! Holy shit! Flaming shot onto these guys, into their rear. Oh my god, this is just all sorts of awesome. But I best not spend too much time at the north side of the wall, even though all of the action is going on here. There is some stuff going on back there. My levy spearmen are going to support my axemen, who have done really well at killing off a lot of these Berber levy as they try to move past my barricades, and they're just taking so much time. Still more fire raging across the streets of Rome. My Italian armored Cavalry, which are mid to elite cavalry, have taken down 2 armored archers in a glorious charge through the streets of Rome. And they're going to pull through a little bit and chase after some of the archers. And this was a very surprise attack that I think could be a very important, very important charge. From the hippodrome, my archers pouring in fire through the safety of the stands onto armored archers on the other side. He still has the bulk of his troops ready, but my axemen have put paid to his Berber levy, and my Gasindii foot swordsmen are holding out the Ifriqian heavy infantry, and I've managed to win the battle at the top of the walls. My armored crossbowmen proving to be invaluable help. 47, 24 kills, 77 kills with this one crossbowman, and I should be trying to get some shots in onto the Ifriqian infantry, but it looks like his armored archers might be doing a fair bit of friendly fire here. Ifriqian infantry probably have very low missile block chance. No, it looks like they have 65, isn't it? 65 missile block chance, but still, it's going to be going into their rear, which they would definitely not like. Their armored archers, their friendly armored archers, actually causing more friendly fire than anything else. Again, apologies for the lag. I'm going to get a better PC once, right before Warhammer comes out. Which honestly, this now should be a good time for me to get a new PC. Here you can see the African skirmishers firing into shield walled axemen as they help support my heavy infantry. I forget what they're called against the Africans. The freaky deaky Africans, the Gasindii foot swordsmen, have managed to do decently enough, but the African heavy infantry are going to be very, very good. The Lombard Gasindii lancers are the most expensive cavalry available for Italy, and they are an incredibly strong shock cavalry unit. I'm going to be using them now, I believe, as they move through the streets of Rome. Maybe I'll just take a quick. Let's take a quick cinematic view with these guys as they move. I wonder where they're going to be charging in. Actually, I do exactly know where they're going to be charging in since I played this battle just about 4 to 5 minutes ago. No, 45 hours ago. But this is not the one that's going to be charging in. There's going to be another one that's charging in. But that's going to be a bit later. For now, let's move into the crossbow. Let's get into crossbow camp. My crossbowmen are running away from African infantry as they pour in through the gates. I'm going to rush in with my swordsmen, and the African infantry. It looks like they took a lot of damage from the molten oil or boiling oil, and it's not looking too great for me on the north side, but on the west side, it's not. West side is not looking too bad. My axemen have done incredibly well against a lot of the Berber levy, and now he does have 2 African heavy infantry that are taking damage, I believe. No, they're not taking any damage. He has a lot of heavy infantry, but I have my Gasindii foot swordsmen there, and I'm not going to move them any further. My purpose on the west wall is to impede them, and my purpose on the north wall is to win. And I'm going to be using my Gasindii foot lancers, heavy lancers, or whatever they're called, to ensure victory. Hold on, pause. Can I pause? Yeah, I can pause. That's just so much lag. That sucks. I really wanted to get it into action cam, but yeah, let's go ahead and see the Gasindii foot heavy lancers in action as they come through and destroy a Berber levy off of the charge. The Berber levy are light spear infantry. They will never. They just got completely flattened, and my Gasindii Lombard Gasindii lancers, going to run away after that initial charge, which was very, very effective. Gasindii foot swordsmen here braced against the African heavy infantry. Over here, my Lombard Gasindii lancers did a decent bit of damage, but against heavy infantry, they won't be able to do too much damage here. And I don't have any units to help support them. Meanwhile, he's going to be able to bring in his Berber levy, and his armored archers are going to be firing in. The Berber levy have a vicious charge, 30 charge bonus, along with their regular bonus versus cavalry, means that the Lombard Gasindii lancers will be dying very, very shortly. But that means his archers are, they're a bit undefended, but he does have a lot of African cavalry behind them, ready to help support. Now, I do have a lot of my armored spearmen, and the pride and joy in terms of spears for Italy in the Gasindii foot spearmen, I believe they're called. Yeah, Gasindii foot spearmen that are in shield wall or spear wall here. Super heavily armored. Look at how beautiful these guys look. I really like the look of Italy. Meanwhile, fire continues raging through Rome, and my Gasindii swordsmen are going to be ready to take on the advancing troops of Africans and of Sicily. They're going to be charging in against braced troops, and it's going to be the Berber levy, honestly, that charges in initially. As fire rages through the streets, they are going to be holding down these alleyways. Gasindii foot swordsmen killing off the Berber levy. There's no surprise there. I do have one spear levy here that's taking damage from an armored archer, but basically destroying all, wasting all of their ammo. My Gasindii foot lancer, I keep saying foot lancer. Gasindii Lombard lancers charged into the rear of these African heavy infantry, and also gave more time for my armored crossbowmen to kill them off, while my swordsmen killed off the last of his African infantry through the gates. Honestly, it was the boiling oil that did most of the damage there. Now he does have a lot of his Ifriqian cavalry and archers bunched up, and that is just a perfect target for my crossbowmen, one of whom has already got 159 kills. And they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to just fire straight through and destroy all of these cavalry. But they need to get into support. They need to get into position for that to happen first. To make sure that these guys stay in position, I'm going to pull in an Italian armored Cavalry to charge through the streets and then maybe hit the unsuspecting Ifriqian cavalry while they charge and kill off the last of my Lombard Gassindia lances. One of my Gassindia lances did well, but the other one, as is the nature with shock cavalry, didn't really do too much. With shock cavalry, it's always a gamble. Which is why if you're going to have a super expensive cavalry, you don't charge them right into the front of braced heavy infantry. But now my Cavalry are going to be doing a very noble job here. They're going to be charging into a lot of troops, and a lot of flaming shot is pouring in already. And they're going to basically hold down all of these Ifriqian cavalry while my swordsmen come into support. Then I didn't even put them into shield wall because I need them to just charge in and hold off all of these cavalry while my crossbowmen gain precious seconds to keep killing off more and more cavalry. They have quick reload, they have precision shot. They're basically the embodiment of cavalry killers when flaming shot is turned on. 176 kills here, about to get a double XP chevron. The cavalry are not doing very well. They have gotten 95 kills by killing off a lot of the armored archers, and they are inflicting morale penalties on more of these Ifriqian cavalry, but not much in terms of actual kills. Here, through the smoky ruins of buildings, the Berber light cavalry unsuspectingly charged into braced Gassindia foot spearmen. I really loved when this happened because I kept them here. There's no line of sight, and I knew that he was going to charge in through with one of his cavalry through there. And they charged right into expert charge defense. Gassindia foot spearmen got 22 kills for basically no cost. Here, my Gassindia foot swordsmen, they are braced and they are ready to keep only 9 kills with these guys still against Ifriqian heavy infantry. It's basically low melee attack infantry against high melee defense Islamic infantry. It's going to be a match that wears on forever and ever. Right next to the Colosseum? Oh no, this is the Hippodrome. And meanwhile, I recognize at some point in this match that my Levy Spearmen are here, and they can just maybe get a sneaky charge into the Berber Light Cavalry. But honestly, all eyes are on the North Wall, and there's been plenty of carnage to satisfy my lust for carnage, and of course my viewers' lust for carnage. Armored crossbowmen here, double XP chevron. Look at the horses littering the main wall. More flaming shot pouring in, hitting more of the cavalry, killing off the last remnants of the cavalry. But now the Ifriqian skirmishers still remain. I don't know what they would do here because they're going to be firing their javelins onto already depleted crossbowmen. One of my crossbowmen double XP chevron. The other one, I'm just going to pull them up onto the walls now because the walls, there's nothing to really for them to really be scared about. So I'm just going to put them atop the walls and then let them fire in from there. And meanwhile, I do have a lot of units that are left in reserve. Armored spearmen here. I've got a spear contingent here that's just there as basically generals' bodyguards or the palace guards, let's say. And I'm bringing in an armored spearman here that is going to help out my Gassindia foot swordsman. I really don't. Is there an earthquake going on in Rome right now? Because there's no cavalry charge here, but I don't get why. I don't get why everything's shaking. Gassindia foot spearmen here. These are the pride and joy of spears helping out the pride and joy of swords against 2 Ifriqian heavy infantry, the pride and joy of the Emirate of Sicily. The Gassindia foot spearmen will not do too well against the Ifriqian heavy infantry, but they will hold them down. And again, that's my strategy with the West Wall. I want them to hold off as many of these troops and gain as much time for me as possible while I manage to win out the North Wall. That's exactly what I've managed to do, although the losses have been heavy on my side. But critically, my crossbows have been unharmed, And now the crossbows atop the walls are going to be able to get some incredibly damaging shots against the Aghlabid cavalry. And it is heavy shot, and that is going to hurt the general's bodyguard a whole lot. Uh, Getting 2 casualties already, and if it was flaming shot, maybe they would have been able to do some more damage. But I've got another Italian armored Cavalry that is going to get a pretty devastating charge against a whole bunch of lightly armored javelin men. And that is going to be... Oh, that was kind of anticlimactic. That means so many javelins. Oh man, they just charged into one javelin unit, which meant the 3 other javelin units can just destroy them. So bye bye Cavalry. The crossbowmen atop the wall still firing up, and I used my archers without their ammo to hold off some of the Ifriqian heavy infantry. And now his Aghlabid general is going to charge in and going to destroy whatever is left of my Italian armored cavalry. But again, it looks like Jaw might be making a massive mistake here, because the Ifriqian skirmishers are just going to throw their javelins. These guys are poorly trained. They don't give a shit if they're going to kill their general in the process. So they are going to be inflicting a lot of friendly fire here, I would suspect. So not really. It doesn't really seem to be the case. The Aghlabid general still basically hale and healthy. Only 4 casualties there. But here is another problem. Now, he saw that his Berber light cavalry died there. But now he knows that there's only one spear, this Gassindia foot spearman. So he's going to use his Ifriqian infantry to charge into the Gassindia foot spearmen. And in shield wall, the Gassindia foot spearmen, it's going to be a matter of time before they lose. But again, it is their pretty decent melee defense that's going to help them out, and at least holding out against those Ifriqian swordsmen. And it's the same case for these Gassindia foot spearmen here. Against 2 shield wall units, they don't stand a chance. But it will be a long time before they die. Look at how slowly they're dying, and that's because the heavy infantry, the heavy infantry are pretty devastating units. Look at that, 36 melee attack if once they get a single XP shot wrong, and their melee defense makes them nigh impregnable. It's crazy. But that's what leads to these prolonged, intense, awesome engagements. But here is going to be the engagement that decides the fate of the game. The Aghlabid general charges in through the streets, chasing after an archer, and I'm going to be using my Cavalry to countercharge against the Aghlabid general. The Aghlabid general does have 30 bonus versus cavalry, but look at how quickly they're dying, and that's because I'm going to be using flaming shot with my archers, along with the very good charge bonus of my cavalry in wedge formation. The Aghlabid general is dying incredibly quickly, but again, it's mainly because of the of the Ifriqian skirmishers. His own soldiers have committed mutiny. They've seen the light of their ways and destroying their general by javelining his butt to death. And there we go. The enemy general is dead. They've killed off my Italian cavalry, but I mean, I don't give a shit. He's just lost his general. Now, the west side of Rome is crumbling. It's still taking a while before the Gassindia spearmen die, but it is a huge blow that his general has died here. Now, the thing is, I do have my my paladin guardsman general, but I don't really know how to rear charge. There's no avenue for me to rear charge this swordsman here that's eventually going to kill off my spearmen. And there's no avenue for me to rear charge these 2 swordsmen that are going to eventually rear charge my spearmen. So honestly, I don't really know what to do. So it's just going to be a matter of me holding off, staying put with my general. I do have a lot of armored spearmen, but he does have a lot of swordsmen, which is the direct counter to them. Now, one thing that's really helping my Gassindia foot spearmen is that this Ifriqian heavy infantry is just in shield wall and is not helping out. That's the problem with shield wall. You need to put shield wall and then issue attack orders. Maybe Jaw did that, but it doesn't look like all of them are really engaging. So it means that my Gassindia foot spearmen are going to be able to last a lot longer than they actually would have. My Levy spearmen on the far side died to his cavalry. They charged in, and the enemy cavalry charged in, and that was it for the Levy spearmen. Whoa. The another armored spearman is going to help out against the Gassindia with the Gassindia foot spearmen against the Ifriqian infantry, and now there's not much that they can do. They are really punching above their weight class because they are swords against spears, but two spears in spear wall against one swordsman, one not so awesome swordsman, and it's not going to be a fight that the swordsman will really win. Just strength in numbers there. You can see the Gassindia foot spearmen didn't really do too well against the swordsman. But with a fresh armored spearman helping out, they will be able to win out that battle. 4 minutes still remaining, and the battle is winding down. I do have all of my crossbows, hale and healthy, but they are basically out of ammo, which makes them basically useless. Now, this Ifriqian infantry is wavering. He does have a Berber light cavalry at full strength, and he does have these two Ifriqian infantry at full strength that's managed to finally kill off my Gassindia foot spearmen. And now it's the final showdown. He's going to do a very smart move here. Jaw is going to move into this capture point, which gives his units a battlefield-wide morale bonus, which is very important because he is very short on morale. His general has died, so this is a very, very smart play from him. Armored spearmen are going to come up. I'm keeping my paladin guardsmen ready at the right next to the Colosseum, and they see through the aqueducts two strong Islamic infantry ready to face them. But they are not ready to charge in just yet. They're waiting for their spear contingent, their spear troops to help out. For now, it looks like the spear troops are taking a short vacation, going up the steps. They want to get some refreshments at the center of the battlefield, it looks like. But in all honesty, it's just the AI and their pathfinding issues playing tricks on me. Managed to finally whittle down that Ifriqian swordsman, and I do have this Gassindia foot spearman at 35 men left, ready. It doesn't look too good for Jaw. He has captured this. I've let him capture it. I mean, I don't have any counter to that. And I do have crossbowmen. As we see the militia of the siege engineers fighting up against the pretty heavily the heavily armored crossbowmen. 46 armor for these guys, very cool. And of course the fort snipers still killing off the large onager. They destroyed a lot of my men. They killed off an entire swordsman unit by just chewing through that wall. So I'm going to bring this last armored crossbowman up in front of my paladin guardsmen. They're going to be firing in the last remnants of their ammo through the aqueducts. If we can get let's move into the vanguard of the armored crossbowmen. So firing into shield-walled Ifriqian heavy infantry is not going to do too much to them because the shield wall gives them like a 75 missile block chance or something. Just trying to get that single XP. But now, the charge of the paladin guardsmen through the streets of Italy that's been burnt and demolished for the most part, charging into braced heavy infantry, it doesn't do a lot of damage. But what it would do is give morale penalties. They've gotten 5 kills, shaken casualties sustained for the Ifriqian heavy infantry, but he's pouring in all that he has: the Berber light cavalry, more Ifriqian heavy infantry, the 2 siege engineer crews, armored archers, whoever is left. They need to fight in because they are almost ready to capture Rome. And it's swords against spears. I mean, that's got to go in the swords' way, isn't it? But the Paladin Guardsman has put in a severe dent against the Ifriqian heavy infantry. And now my Gassindia foot swordsmen keep making that mistake. Foot spearmen in spear wall with their heavy, glittering, gleaming armor going to fight under the sun against the last remnants, the exhausted Emirate of Sicily troops. 8 seconds left. I managed to win this incredibly close game. What an awesome match. Well played to Jaw. Great move with his two contingents, and the two contingents were very diverse. That's why maybe if he kept them a bit more. Well, no, that's not really the case. If he kept more troops on the west side, maybe I would have dedicated more troops to my west side, and that meant that he would have been able to win the north side, and that I think is a more crucial area for him to win. But yeah, I mean, he just did really well. And I think me putting in the barricades that I did and just using everything that I could to hold off the west wall was a gamble that really, really paid off. Because it let my, it didn't mean that he would break through the west side too easily. And granted, the last remnants of his troops were on the west side, but it meant that I could keep all of my attention on the north side of the wall and make sure that my crossbowmen did well, and they did really well. I mean, they had been firing in from the start of the game, and you can see one of them got a triple experience chevron. Basically, the reason why I won the game. They were firing into cavalry, they were firing into Ifriqian heavy infantry from atop the walls, while my Gassindia foot swordsmen held them off. Credit to the Gassindia foot swordsmen, they did pretty decently. Two of them got single XP chevrons, but they would never face up against what looks like the stronger Ifriqian heavy infantry for Jaw and for the Emirate of Sicily. The axemen did surprisingly well too. The swordsmen, very cheap units, wouldn't really do much, didn't really do much. Gassindia foot spearmen were used only in pockets. One was kept in the west wall as a last ditch defense. One was kept in the, let's say, northwest, alleyway. And I knew that was a critical area because if he won that small little passageway, he could commit all of his cavalry and all of his infantry through that. So I needed something, I needed an infantry unit of some sort that would be strong enough to resist for a long time. Keeping a Gassindia foot swordsman there could have been a good idea, but I think the spearmen were the best choice. If I had kept something other than a spearman, his Berber light cavalry could have just charged straight through them and destroyed them. But the spearmen, instead, with their expert charge defense, just killed off basically the entire unit off of that charge. The levy spearmen, one of them was atop the wall, and I think I tried to charge into the cavalry, but that was a move that was too cheeky for my own good, and they died. They died horribly. And the armored spearmen were used as support troops for the most part, and they did okay. I mean, they didn't really get killed, or they didn't really suffer too much damage. Archers, they got some really cool looking shots, but they didn't really do too much. And the armored Cavalry, while they look really cool, I think the Ifriqian cavalry are better. But that remains to be seen. The Lombard Gassindia lancers got one of them got a really cool charge in. The other one wasn't really too effective. On Yawning Firefly's side, the insistence on bringing so many Berber levy is not something that I really share sentiments with. They're not the cheapest, because you could bring, if you really wanted to bring cheap spearmen, you could just bring cheaper levy spearmen or whatever. The Berber levy are more anti-cavalry troops, and I don't think there's a role for anti-cavalry troops too much in when you're attacking, when you're an attacker in a siege. The Ifriqian skirmishers, honestly, they should be, whoever made it out alive should be just hung, because they basically killed the general. If he didn't bring them, he would have won this most likely. So the Ifriqian skirmishers rated MVP for my side. A spy went in before the battle began, went into their camp and promised them gold and clemency if they managed to kill, the Aghlabid guard cavalry. But yeah, I mean, I guess they honestly were the reason why he lost that game. Ifriqian heavy infantry, very impressive units. Some of them didn't really do well because they were passing through the siege walls and were getting shot to pieces by crossbowmen and under molten oil. So those are external factors that killed them off. But when they were up against Gassindia foot swordsmen, they managed to beast them. And Ifriqian infantry as well, very impressive infantry. The armored archers also got a lot of kills, but when you're an attacker in a siege, there's not too much that you can do with your archers except pray for the best and hope the defender makes a mistake and you can get some good shots in. Now, before I end the battle or this video, I want to take a quick look at the two armies. As you can see in the kingdom of the Age of Vikings, you have a whole bunch of factions. Italy, I think, is a highlight. Beautiful looking units, great armor, and just an awesome faction because they have Gestalt Knights, Gassindia Cavalry, which are sword cavalry, elite sword cavalry. They have Gassindia Lancers, which are, I said that they were the most expensive cavalry. They are not. The Gassindia Cavalry are the most expensive ones. They have the regular Gestalt Cavalry and Gestalt Knights. They have the Italian Armored Cavalry, which are very good troops, but they are spear cavalry. They do have some skirmish cavalry as well, and the crossbowmen, of course, are a highlight for them. 12 ammunition, quite decent. For the Emirate of Sicily, on the other hand, it is the swords that make up their the best of them, and I think they have decent, very good cavalry. It's just not the strongest. If Frician cavalry are very nice. Armored cavalry, of course, very sturdy cavalry, and they have Berber Genetes and Raiders that wouldn't do well in a siege, situation. And yeah, they have the Aghlabid Guardsmen, which are basically like the Umayyad Guardsmen. I want to take a look at if they're the same as the Umayyad Guardsmen. Let's see, Emirate of Cordoba. Umayyad Guardsmen, 41, 32, 30, 35. Yeah, they're slightly... Oh, they're slightly more aggressive. The Aghlabid Guardsmen are slightly more aggressive than the Umayyad Guardsmen. I think it's very similar for the African infantry. Yeah, lower African heavy infantry, they're more sturdy than their Andalusian warriors. But they have a lower missile block chance. The Andalusian warriors have a much higher missile block chance. Very interesting. So yeah, props to the creator of the mod. Really cool mod. Yeah, anyways, hope you guys enjoyed this battle. I truly enjoyed playing it. Hope you guys enjoyed watching it. And let me know if you want to see more of these massive battles. I would be glad to bring you more of them. Stay tuned. Until next time, guys. Peace.